that they are bearing down on.
You don't get much more inner than that. It's exactly right. And we've already known about Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani. So this shows, this was a month ago. We get flashes and little dispatches. But Smith is building a big mural. He's leaving no stone unturned. That's the first big point. The second is, Caitlin talked about what he might have testified about. Giuliani was also very involved in the fundraising efforts that Smith is separately pursuing. And you know who else was? Newt Gingrich, who also testified a month ago. So you can bet that that's what he asked about. But basically, this is no stone unturned. Apparently, Kushner said that Trump actually thought maybe the election had been stolen. Others say different things.
Can I ask you about that?
Yeah.
Because I think that point's important. There are questions being asked about, whether or not Trump actually believed that he had lost this because it was stolen. Does that matter in this prosecution, what he believed, if people were telling him that he lost?
It's a great point. The short answer is yes, at least for a jury. Legally, he's guilty. Even if he believed he lost, that doesn't mean you can incite an insurrection or tell Mike Pence to violate the Constitution. But for a jury to hear, and they will hear, they won't hear from Kushner, they'll hear from Alyssa Griffin, they'll hear from Mark Milley. He understood he lost. That's going to matter to them. It's going to make the whole schemes that went forward seem all the more intentional, nefarious, and not accidental.
But is there any legal thing that the defense can stand on to say, well, he just thought that was it, that's why he kept going?
They can try to proffer it, but here's axiom number one in any case involving Trump. He won't testify. He can't testify. He'd be murdered on cross-examination. So it's a little bit of an inside prosecutorial point, but I don't see how they're going to present this point.
I want to just mention, you talked about Alyssa Farah Griffin, and here's exactly what she said. She said that privately he admitted he lost the election, and said she blurted out watching Joe Biden on television say, "Can you believe I lost to this guy?"
Right.
So there are going to be differing accounts of what people say he did or did not believe, but ultimately the jury has to make that decision. Let me ask you about this big fight over the timing of the classified documents case. It's already going to head to trial. There's already supposed to be a date set by the judge coming up. And the prosecution is saying, we need to go forward. We are ready for a speedy trial. But isn't a speedy trial something that the defendant, it's their right to a speedy trial, and they can say, we don't want one?
Well, no, they can't say we don't want one. It is their right under the Constitution. It's also the public's right. But right now, you're exactly right. It's about setting a schedule. And they do a kind of cheeky move when the prosecution says, let's go in December. You might have expected them to say March and split the difference. They just say, we don't even have to set one now. If Judge Cannon acquiesces in that kind of real delay strategy, it's a bad sign for the timeliness of the whole trial.
Can you give me some sense of whether you believe this case is a big case? There's a lot of classified documents. People have to get security clearances. Does the defense have a point here that many of the other cases that have been tried with classified documents have gone on for a very long time before trial?
So we don't know yet. Everything that they've talked about in their motion, the United States parried effectively. So the things they have to bring, that can be done in good time. And the discussion they're going to have about classified procedures. Yeah. But then, will the procedures take a long time? We'll know later.
Harry Litman, thank you so much for coming.